Hello again, and I just wanted to go ahead and make a second part. Since the video launcher only allows me to do 15 minutes, there were quite a few cards left over that you guys said you had some trouble with, so I'm going to go ahead and finish through here. And obviously, you guys could skip through whatever cards you felt comfortable with and just move to the ones that you didn't. And I'll give you an order of what I did them in. So this one is talking about the relationship, this is number 24, between an annual salary and the age of years of the employees earning the salary. So let's say that we have a salary circle and we have an age circle. Okay, so let's say we have a salary of $100,000 a year and a salary of, let's say, $50,000 a year. And so let's think about somebody that just got out of high school and is like 23 years old. They could be making $50,000 a year, or they could be making $100,000 a year, depending on what kind of a degree they got and what kind of job they were able to get. And then there might be somebody who's 33 who could be starting out for the first time with a degree and getting $50,000 a year, or maybe worked their way up a ladder, or they just finished their master's or did something special, like aged up through the years, and they could make $100,000 a year. So do you see that this 1 point goes to many on this side? So this side would be a many, and then this 1 point goes to many on this side, so there's a many here. So this is the first one that I've been going through, that this is a many to many situation. So that means if I go from left to right, from salary to age, that's going to be a many to many, which means that it is not a function. Because again, anything we plug into our calculator, we want it to give us one answer, not many answers. And then if I start with age and I finish with salary, the same thing's going to happen. It's going to be a many to many function relation, and therefore it's not going to be a function. And so this would be the first case of my examples where this is a neither. So in neither direction do we get a function. All right, so then the next one is going to be card number 4. So this one's talking about a Ferris wheel turns round and round. What is the relationship between the time elapsed and the height of a specific seat from the ground? So let's say at the beginning we start a little bit above the ground, and then as it spins, we're going to be going up until we hit a maximum, and then we're going to be coming down and then going up, and so on and so forth. It might even be a straighter line, maybe, I'm not sure, but it looks something like this. And so as I drag my pencil along the time axis, do you see that if I talk about the function in terms of the domain of time, we do have a function. But if I go perpendicular to the height axis, I can hit more than 1 point where at a specific time or at different specific times, I'm at the same height. So it is not a function with a domain of h, but it is a function with a domain of t. So this would be 1. Okay. So then the next card is going to be card number 14. And so we can do this one with our pencil or our pen. So as we drag this across perpendicular to the x-axis, we hit exactly 1 point at a time. So y is a function of x. But if we go perpendicular to the y-axis, we hit more than 1 point at a time. So x is not a function of y. So that would be a situation where in only one direction do we have a function. All right, so then our next card is card number 15, and this may not be a graph that you remember from Algebra 2, so I went ahead and graphed it on Desmos. And so it's a circle centered at the origin with a radius of 2. And so if we notice, this is our x-axis and this is our y-axis. And as we go perpendicular to the x-axis, we can hit more than 1 point at a time. And so that means that it is not a function with respect to x. So y is not a function of x. And then going perpendicular to the y-axis, the same thing could happen. So x is not a function of y. And so this is the only other time that this is going to be neither, because it's a many-to-many situation. All right, so taking a look at question 35, this is another graph question. So we can go ahead and drag our pencil, and do you see that perpendicular to the x-axis, I only hit 1 point at a time. So we do know that y is a function of x, but as I drag it perpendicular to the y-axis, I can hit more than 1 point, and so x is not a function of y, so this will be a function in only one direction. All right, so question number 7. You should have recognized that it was going to be a parabola, but you may not have seen how to draw the parabola, but you get the idea. So I went ahead and did this on Desmos. So again, if I drag my pencil perpendicular to the x-axis, do you see that for each x value, there is exactly one y value. So y is a function of x, but going perpendicular to the y-axis, we can hit more than 1 point at a time. So x is not a function of y. So this would be in only one direction. The next card was card number 28. And so again, if we drag our pencil perpendicular to the x-axis, we touch exactly 1 point at a time. So y is a function of x. But if we go perpendicular to the y-axis, we can hit more than 1 point at any given time. And so that means that x is not a function of y. So it is only a function in one of the directions. When we take a look at question number 30, now interestingly, on this one, we want to be able to connect those dots like I did on that question with the number of workers, but sometimes we can't do that because sometimes we don't have a continuous graph. So this is a graph of just the collection of those points. And so then if we notice, if we come across perpendicular to the x-axis, we only hit at least 1 point or at most 1 point at a time. But going perpendicular to the y-axis, there could be a situation where we hit more than 1 point at a time. So y is a function of x, where x is the domain, but x is not a function of y, where y is the domain, and so that would only be in one direction. Question number 34. If I drag this perpendicular to the x-axis, we hit at most 1 point at a time. So that means y is a function of x, but going perpendicular to the y-axis, we only hit, assuming that this is talking about an asymptote and it's getting closer and closer to an asymptote, we would say that it's only hitting 1 point at a time. If we see these as on the same line, then I could recognize that maybe you would say that that is hitting the pencil more than one time. So I would go with exactly one, or I would go with both on this one. And that would be one that if we were in person, we could have a conversation about that. But I'm assuming this is like the inverse tangent function and it's approaching an asymptote, but that's not very clear on this graph. So I could see both of those answers. So question number 6, if we do the vertical line test, checking for x as the domain, we hit exactly 1 point at a time. And so y is a function of x. But coming across this way, we hit more than 1 point at a time using y as the domain. So x is not a function of y. And so in only one direction is this a function. Question number 18. If we drag this across, we have exactly 1 point for every x value, except for the y-axis that happens to be an asymptote. And so it is a function with respect to x. And then if I go perpendicular to the y-axis, it is also a function with respect to y. So that is a one-to-one situation. And so in both directions, it is a function. Y is a function of x, and x is a function of y. All right, so 26. If we go perpendicular to the x-axis, we touch exactly 1 point at a time or no points. And then as we go across the y-axis, we touch at most 1 point at a time. So y is a function of x and x is a function of y. So that is a one-to-one situation, which means that both directions give us a function. All right, so let's take a look at this one. And what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate these two values, and so that we can get an idea of our mapping. And I'll do it in red so we can see it better. So -2 maps onto 4. -1 maps onto 1, 0 maps onto 0, 1 maps onto 1, but I'm going to do it over here instead of having that repeat, and then 2 maps onto 4, and I'm going to do it over there so that we can see our repeats. So do you see that on this side, we only have one dot, but on this side, that one dot can go to many over here. This one dot goes to many, and then this is a one-to-one right there, right? So that means that this is a many-to-one situation. So if we do the mapping where U is the domain getting mapped onto W, that's going to be a many-to-one situation. And so that means I can plug many values into my calculator and get the one answer that I need out of my calculator. So that is a function. And then if I start at W as my domain and map it onto U, that's going to be a one-to-many situation. So this is saying when I plug in a value to my calculator, it might give me many possible answers, and calculators don't like that. So that is not a function. And so what that tells us is that this is a function in only one of the directions. All right, so the next card is question number 2. So on this one, if I drag my pencil perpendicular to the x-axis, that means that I have exactly 1 point touching my pencil at any time. So y is a function of x. And then the same thing happens going in this direction. It touches 1 point at a time. And so x is a function of y. And so that would be a both situation. Looking at question number 5, again, let's cross out anything that is a repeat. So there's no repeats anywhere. So 1 maps onto 1, 2 maps onto 0.5, 3 maps onto 0.3 bar, 4 maps onto 0.25, and 5 maps onto 0.2. So this looks like it's the reciprocal function. So do you see that on this side we only have 1 dot? And on this side, we only have 1 dot. There is nothing that's repeating, so nothing becomes many. And so because this is a one-to-one situation, that means that when whatever direction I go, it's going to be one-to-one, or if I go in reverse, it's still one-to-one. And so that is the one situation where both directions are going to give me a function. All right, so looking at question number 9, again, let's cancel out anything that's a repeat. I don't see any. So this is saying 0.01 maps onto -2, 0.1 maps onto -1, 1 maps onto 0, root 10 maps onto 1/2 or 0.5, and 10 maps onto 1. So it looks like they're talking about v being an exponent of 10 and p being 10 to the v power, something like that. And so do we see that this is another situation where I've got 1 dot on the left-hand side and I've got 1 dots on the right-hand side, and nothing is getting mapped onto many. So it's another one-to-one situation, which means that it would be a function in either direction. Taking a look at question number 10, if we look perpendicular to the x-axis, we see that we hit 2 points, and so y is not a function of x. But going horizontally, x is a function of y. So that means in only one direction do we have a function. And then looking at question number 13, again, we're going to cancel out any repeats. And so this one, we get -2 goes to 4, -1 goes to 1, 0 goes to 0, 1 goes to 1, but I'm going to map it up here, and 2 goes to 4, but I'm going to map that up here. Okay, and so we have a situation where these 1 dots are getting mapped onto many numbers on this side, but each of these is only going to one item on the left-hand side. So if we talk about M as the domain and P as the range, that's going to be one to many. And so I don't want my calculator to give me many answers, so this is not a function. And if I start at P as my domain and go to M, meaning going from right to left, that means that I'm going many to one. So that means that no matter what I plug into my calculator, it's going to give me exactly one answer. So that is a function. So this would be a situation where exactly one direction gives me a function. So that is all the cards that you guys said that you struggled with. And I hope that helps, and email me if you still have any more questions. Thanks.